Hi everyone. I know you guys are super excited to hear that progress reports go home September 18th. So this video is going to walk you through how to set up your progress reports. I'm starting on the internal web page, specifically the reporting progress page. I'm going to scroll down to standards-based grading and click on the rubrics, midterm reports, and report cards link. That opens another Google folder owned by the district, where I can select the folder for my grade level, and then you will see three separate documents. The rubrics I discussed in my previous video about standards-based grading. The report card will be another video later, and tonight we're going to look at the midterm progress report. When you open that document, it is a view only. So you must go up to File and click Make a Copy in order to edit. Rename this document something that you will be able to find later. And then you will also want to organize it in your Google Drive so that it's not in the district folder. So you'll click that little grade 2 folder and then click back until you see where it says My Drive. And you can see I had to go back a couple clicks. I want it in my drive, and if you're like me and you really want it organized, you can put it in a specific folder, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to leave it in my drive. When you click OK here, it then creates an editable document. To avoid confusion, I'm going to close out the one that was created by the district. You are now able to go in and begin editing your progress reports. Before you do too much editing for every student, you're going to want to change a few things to save yourself some time. Go ahead and click the school name, fill in your name, the principal name, and the reporting period. This will save you time later. You're also going to want to make sure that you have had a conversation with your grade level teammates about which of the different strands under each subject area you are going to report on. It should be very consistent with your curriculum guide, as all of our collaborative planning sessions are based out of the curriculum guide and it's planned for the year. So for English Language Arts, according to second grade's curriculum guide, we have studied literature, informational text, foundational skills, speaking and listening, and language. We have not mastered all of those, but we have introduced and should be able to give an overall measure on them. It's important that all of our progress reports and report cards are consistent across the grade level, because in many grade levels we have siblings. And it just eliminates the confusion of them going home and having different progress reports and report cards. As you can see, I'm going down the list, clicking the different standards for writing, math, science, and social studies. Now, in social studies, they actually have two different sets of standards: civics and government, and geography. I'm not clicking geography because we haven't gotten to that point yet. If I scroll down, you notice that work habits are consistent for everyone, and so are behaviors. So at this point, you can begin creating individual student progress reports for each child in your class. And you will do that by right-clicking on the tab that says Student and going up and clicking Duplicate. I now have progress reports for 2 students. You would do that one time for every child on your roster. I'm going to pretend that I only have 2 students in my class. Now that I have 2 progress reports for those 2 students, I need to rename them. So my first one is going to be, I right-click and I go up to rename, and this is going to be Jennifer Stokes' progress report. For my second student, again, I right-click, go to rename, This is going to be Eric Johnson's progress report. I can now begin editing each individual child's report. So for Stokes, I'm going to begin at the top by adding her name. I then decide, how is Jennifer performing? Overall, I'm only going to give one measure of progress for English language arts. So think about how she has performed on classroom observational tasks, on discussion questions. Maybe you've given some quizzes, maybe you've given exit tickets. Even consider her iReady. Even though that is not necessarily a grade on her report card, you can use that to inform your decision. For the sake of this example, I'm going to say that Jennifer overall is meeting. That means that she is meeting the grade level standard. She receives very little help and is able to do her work sufficiently on her own. If she were exceeding, that would mean that she needs more challenging activities that go over and above the grade level standard. If she is progressing, she is able to do work that meets the grade level standard with some support and coaching. She requires a lot of that coaching and support in order to be a meeting. And then for limited, that simply means that Jennifer requires intense support and coaching in order to show what she knows or to reach that grade level standard. That does not mean that she is not willing to do the work. NA simply means maybe you haven't gotten there and are not prepared to give a measure. We should not be selecting NA for English language arts, writing, math. The only time you might select NA is, let's say you decided to chunk your science and social studies and you began the quarter by teaching science and have not made it to social studies yet, you would select NA for social studies. Otherwise, we should not be selecting NA. So if she's meeting, I then need to provide a specific comment to explain to her parents or family why she is meeting. So I have prepared a comment ahead of time. I'm simply copying and pasting this into the box. You can see that it is going off the screen. I'm highlighting the entire comment box, and I'm coming up to click the Merge Cells box, followed by the Wrap Text box. You can now see that Jennifer's comment is there. I'll let you pause this video and read the comment, but what I want to draw your attention to is the fact that this comment is based on her work and how she is performing academically. It is not an overview of what we have studied or what we are going to study as a class. It is very specific to Jennifer and her progress. It is not a blanket statement that can be pasted on the entire class's progress reports. Please keep in mind that our students deserve specific, targeted feedback in order to be able to move forward and show growth. This is your opportunity to communicate that with their parents. So please take the time to write a very specific comment. You would do the same for writing and math. I've also prepared a comment for math for Jennifer. In the case of math, Jennifer seems to be encountering some struggles with subtraction with regrouping, but she's a good problem solver and is very willing to persevere and make growth as best she can. So I have stated that. Overall, her progress is at a P. I would also fill in measures of progress for science, for matter, and for social studies for civics and government. I would then come down and fill in her work habits. As I've stated in my comments, she's very willing to work. She's a very hard worker, so I'm saying that she is exceeding. She might be meeting in the working cooperatively with others. She always follows directions and sets the standard for appropriate behavior for her class. Now, I would go back and fill in comments specific to Jennifer again in each of these areas, all of the academic areas as well as the work habits here and the behavior here. I would also click this box because at the end of first quarter, conferences are mandatory. At this point, you are finished with your progress report for Jennifer. You would move on to Eric's progress report and complete it in much the same way. When it is time to print your progress report, you will come up to File, Print, or click the print icon, and you can then see a print preview. Take a look at each one to make sure that it is fitting onto the page, nothing is running off the page, the comments look nice, and then you are going to come up and click, instead of print current sheet, print the workbook. That allows you to see Eric's progress report as well. Now, I have not filled his in, but because you are printing the workbook, it will print his as well. You may then click Next. Select the printer of your choice. You will want to ensure that they are not front to back, so you want to unclick this and then click Print. And that is the end of our progress report video. If you have trouble finding the documents on the internal page, if you are struggling with formatting or just need to ask general questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Ms. Stokes, to Dr. Johnson, or myself. We're happy to help. Again, I just encourage you to please not wait until the night before. As you can see, there were several steps, and there were also collaborative conversations that need to take place with your grade level. So waiting until the night before is not going to be possible with the progress reports. They don't take forever, but you do need to plan in advance. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and let us know if you have questions.